Hi, welcome to this how-to video from Catallator.com. This video is going to show you how to convert bitmaps to vectors with CorelDraw. Okay, so we have scanned our image on a flatbed scanner. I scanned it in as black and white to create as much contrast as possible. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup with the eraser as a JPEG file before we take the file over to CorelDraw to start working on vectorizing it. So I'm going to select the eraser and now just start getting rid of some of the extraneous lines in the image here, things that I don't want when we come through to the vectorization process. I'm not going to show you the entire process because that's going to get a little long, so I'm going to fast forward through to the end of the process. Okay, so I've worked away on cleaning up the file and now I've got it into a state where I'm pretty happy with the result, and I'm going to save this as a JPEG file and then import it over into CorelDraw. So I'll see you over there. Okay, I'm going to start off in CorelDraw with a blank document template. I want to import my JPEG file, so I select it, File, Import, and then I just indicate on my document template where I would like it to go. So I can zoom in and have a look, see that everything imported correctly. So the first thing I want to do is to go ahead and scan it, trace it into a vector file. So with the bitmap file selected, I come up to Bitmaps, I go Outline Trace, and I want to do Line Art. So this says the file is quite large. I'm saying, okay, sure, I'll reduce the bitmap. And now it shows me a screen where it's doing the tracing process. The left-hand side of the screen is showing the original file, and the right-hand side is the tracing. This is showing us the progress down here as we do the tracing, and now it's come up with a traced file. So there are some areas, the white areas here, that are still white and solid, and I actually want to get those removed, so I'm going to say remove color from entire image, so I'll just be left with the black outline. I can also say delete original image, and if all that looks okay, I'll come down and say OK, and now I've got a traced file, and it's actually made up of 4 curve objects. Over in the Object Manager, I can right-click on that group and say Ungroup Objects, and now I can kind of look and see what are the curves by going and clicking on them. So this first one down here looks like it's probably something I can get rid of because it's half of one of these dots that I'll end up reconstructing later on. So I can click Delete. Then this next one, I guess, is the inside part of that E. Keep on zooming out so I can see that circle, and then everything else is one big curve. All right, so it looks like it's a solid line at the moment. All of these, in fact, are filled curves. So if I select everything, go to Object Properties, I can select Hairline to outline it, we'll leave it in black, and then I want to turn off Fill. And now I can kind of really get a sense for what this file is like that has scanned in. So it's not too bad, but it's going to need a little bit of cleanup. Okay, so I'm going to start down here on this shape just to show you how I go about the process of cleaning up. So we have 2 lines here. I really only want the outside line to cut out in the vinyl cutter. So with the whole curve selected, I'll come up to Object and I'll say Break Curve Apart. Now this curve is separate from that curve. and I'm going to get rid of it. So this curve has a lot of points on it. It's a little jaggedy from the scanning process. If we use the shape tool, you can see as we select it that it's got a lot of extraneous points. So one of the easiest ways of cleaning this up is to use the smooth function. We click on that, and then what I need to do is, because of the size of what we're working on here, reduce this maybe down to say 0.2 of an inch. There we go, that's better. And so I have this circle here, and basically if I just hold down the mouse button and wave this circle over these parts of the curve, as you can see, they are becoming smoothed out. So I can just do that a little bit, and it basically makes the curve look a lot better. And now I'll zoom back out, and you can see it's starting to look like something that we can use for vinyl cutting. Alright, so this next entity here is all one curve, so I'm going to have to do that same process. I select it, say Object, Break Curve Apart. I've now got a whole bunch of different curves. So if I zoom in here, there are a bunch of different things that I'm going to have to work with. So we're going to work a little bit more on these letters to get them cleaned up. Once again using the smooth tool. And if I'm working on a larger object, I can just get this radius to be a little bit bigger. Maybe I need a little bit more here. 7. Right. So the lesson here is I need to select that, then select the smooth tool. There we go. Now it's actually working. So we can smooth out a lot of these inconsistencies. I just work my way around. Eventually a lot of those scanned idiosyncrasies start going away. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here and do some more of this work and then show you where we are when we get to the good stopping point. Okay, so I've worked away for a while and I've got the image mostly cleaned up and ready for me to go to vinyl cutting. There's a couple more steps that I need to do. So we've decided we'd like to have the sign be vertical, so I'm going to change the orientation to portrait. There we go. And take all of these elements, and I want to size this up so it's 16 inches wide. So I make sure I've got this little padlock here locked so that we maintain the width to height ratio, and I'm going to type in 16 for the width. Just get that moved over into the center of the sign. We wanted to get 2 more of these, so Control C for copy, Control V for paste, Control C for copy, Control V for paste. It's going to go outside the boundaries of the document. That's fine. I can select everything, and then I'm just going to rescale this back down to 16 inches. Okay. So we're going to cut this out of a piece of vinyl, and then we need to take out all of the negative space that we don't want. So the best way of doing this is to use some guidelines to provide bounding area of the image here. Make sure I got that at the bottom. And then to draw a rectangle, I need to do snap to guidelines. And draw a rectangle around everything. Now we need to add what's called weeding lines to help us take away the negative space. So I can start putting in some 2-point lines. I'm basically going to break up the vinyl so that we're able to more easily peel the pieces of vinyl out. So once again, I'm going to pause the video at this stage, complete this process, and then show you the finished product. Okay, so I've worked away. I've put in the weeding lines, which you can see all of these straight lines here that are going to break up the negative space. That's going to allow us to be able to peel that vinyl out more easily and leave the vinyl for the positive space that we want. So at this stage, the design is ready to go to vinyl cutting, and we can move forward from there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video useful. You can find out more information about what we do at our Facebook page, on our Instagram feed, and our Pinterest page. There's lots of cool pictures and interesting projects for you to see there. Thanks, and see you soon.